You're listening to DraftKings Network.
Folks, Smirnoff. I love it. Smirnoff knows there's no I in football. It's a we thing, best enjoyed with good drinks and great company. Home or away, we rally together, cry together, and always rally cry together because there's no I in fandom. Smirnoff, the world's #1 vodka, is perfect for easy, delicious cocktails for fans over 21. As the official vodka partner of the NFL, Smirnoff's award-winning taste has been igniting the collective spirit since 1864. Grab a bottle of Smirnoff at your local retailer and head to Smirnoff.com to find recipes of delicious cocktails perfect for game day. Please drink responsibly. Smirnoff, #21 vodka, distilled from grain, 40% alcohol volume. The Smirnoff Company, New York, New York. Please do not share with anyone under legal drinking age.
Now's a good time to remember where the story of tequila started. In 1795, the first tequila distillery was opened by the Cuervo family. And 229 years later, Cuervo is still going strong. Family owned from the start, same family, same land. Now's a good time to enjoy Cuervo, the tequila that invented tequila. Go to Cuervo.com to shop tequila or visit a store near you. Cuervo, now's a good time. Trademarks owned by Becle, SAB The CV. Copyright 2024. Próximo. Jersey City, New Jersey. Please drink responsibly.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz podcast.
Let's have this Devin Hester conversation because Stugotz is in his wheelhouse in a couple of different places. And Hall of Fame, should you be in? Should you not be in?
Mm-hmm.
This is something that it is rivers of content on God Bless Football. It is something that pays for Stugotz's luxurious life because he likes talking about whether someone should be in the Hall of Fame or shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame. Football Hall of Fame, you treat with more respect than the Basketball Hall of Fame.
Well, I do. I mean, they put the right people usually into the Football Hall of Fame. I mean, there are many people in the Basketball Hall of Fame that have no business being in a Basketball Hall of Fame.
As passionate as you've been in 18 months, is for some reason mad that Joe Mauer is a first ballot Baseball Hall of Famer. But you don't complain a whole lot, as far as I can remember, about who is or isn't in the Football Hall of Fame. And this weekend, the Steve McMichael thing felt a little heartbreaking and generous and kind to somebody. I don't know how much of the audience knows who this person is. But seeing someone who was that kind of a menace, ravaged by ALS, and Boog Shambi does great work with ALS, Tom Haberstroh does great work with ALS, it is an uncommon prison of horror that you would not wish any of that on anybody you care about, to have life slip away like that. So from his home, he was inducted into the Hall of Fame. And it was just hard not to be ravaged by that. But that's not what you want to talk about. You want to talk about another Chicago Bear. You want to talk about Devin Hester, kick returner. Should he be in the Hall of Fame? You say no.
No, I think Devin Hester actually should be in the Hall of Fame. I think where he got carried away was during his speech. He said, hopefully this opens the door for guys like Josh Cribbs. Josh Cribbs is not a Hall of Famer. Devin Hester, you are. Josh Cribbs, you are not, okay? He's not a Hall of Famer. And I will start caring about the Hall of Fame the way I care about the other Hall of Fames if Josh Cribbs gets in, because he has no business getting in. He's not a Hall of Famer. We talked about this with Siciliano earlier. Eric Metcalf is more deserving because of the other things he did of making it to the Hall of Fame than Josh Cribbs. So Josh Cribbs, Devin Hester, I'm telling you, got caught up in the air, he got carried away. He did not mean that. And if he had the chance to take it back, he would. Yes.
You don't think he was reading some prepared remarks? You think he erred by saying that he just was...
Why do you feel so strongly that Josh Cribbs isn't and Devin Hester is?
Because Devin Hester, I associate Devin Hester with the greatest kick returner, punt returner of all time. And I feel...
But what's the metrics that you're using? Like your eyes? Or when you think?
This is the metric.
Because like Josh Cribbs, up until recently, Josh Cribbs had the most kickoff returns for touchdowns ever.
You asked the metric, I'm going to answer, okay? When I think about punt returning and kick returning, the first name I think of is Devin Hester.
That's not a metric.
It's my metric.
It's a metric,
It's my metric.
But like Josh Cribbs is pretty high up.
First thing I think of.
Don't you think it's a
stats?
Don't you think it's a pretty good standard for no matter the position, even if you're a specialist, that if over the course of an era, you were at one of the first or two names that people would rattle off you should be a Hall of Famer regardless of the position. We're going to run into this with Adam Vinatieri on the ballot.
Hall of Famer.
I think he should be a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
He should be a first ballot Hall of Famer because the clutchness, the massive kicks, the fact that he was really good for a really long time, and over the course of an era, everybody would say that's the guy.
But when I think kick returning, punt returning, the first name I think of is Devin Hester. The second one is Billy White Shoes Johnson. I mean, that's it.
Billy White Shoes Johnson.
I've never once thought about Josh Cribbs.
Billy
for any
White,
reason, for
Billy
anything.
White Shoes Johnson.
Why would
I think he kind of invented.
Maybe Dion.
You didn't think about Josh Cribbs like 8 times when he was running it back for a touchdown?
No.
Okay. He was also into Andrew Siciliano's Metcalf point. Josh Cribbs, I think, was a more impact player on offense than Devin Hester was.
Well-rounded, more well-rounded. Billy White Shoes Johnson, I don't know if he invented the celebration or the spike, but I associated him with a knock-kneed dance of some sort that I believe I think he sort of created the end zone celebration, but
Pioneer, yeah.
But the metric that Stugotz is using that is not a metric, which is when I think of kick returns, I think of Devin Hester, and therefore that's the only Hall of Famer. I'd like to put that off to the side for a second and return to it because I do like that because I think I side with Stugotz on this. Your numbers be damned.
Thank you.
But because that's how people do the Hall of Fame. Like that is how they do it. That's not how the voters do it. That's not people with.
That's how they should be doing it.
I mean, yes.
I'm not taking anything away from Devin Hester by saying guys like Brian Mitchell, guys like Josh Cribbs, they should be in this conversation too because they were. If you thought Hester was better, okay, but he wasn't much better.
Okay, but I'd like to put this off to the side for a second and have a different conversation. And I'd like to object vehemently to what you're saying about Adam Vinatieri. All I am willing to give you at the Hall of Fame for the kickers is a place out back.
Oh, man, that's disrespectful.
Really?
Okay, with all due respect.
Punters as well?
With all due respect.
Good question.
Because Ray Guy's in there.
They can put whoever they want in the Hall of Fame. I'm telling you, in my Hall of Fame, you get a guest house out back. You can have a bridge between the two places, a walkway, a skywalk of some sort. If you want to put in if you'd like to put in a little airport, one of those treadmills that gets them from place to place?
The walkway?
Moving walkway.
Moving walkway, yes.
But you're out back, and you're closer to an outhouse than you are to a guest house. You guys don't play football. You're important. I'm not saying that the rules don't make you important, but you're not playing football. Go in the back.
Even Mark Mosley?
Everybody.
He won an MVP.
All of you.
He won an MVP.
So you're anti-first ballot.
I'm anti-putting them in the place where the people collide. Put them in the back playing a different...
you're saying the structure itself is not connected to the house?
It's connected by a walkway.
By a breezeway.
Hold
on a second, because
they don't get a bust either?
They can have a bust, but it has to stay. It has to remain in the guest house. It can't come out in the front. They get a bust.
It's because they don't get hit?
It's because they don't play football.
Well, hold on a second now. So, is there going to be another house in the back for quarterbacks who now can't get hit? In the future?
No.
This generation of quarterbacks can't get hit.
I didn't make the rules.
Do they get?
I understand.
You are making the rules.
I understand. I understand what you're saying.
I'm asking a question.
The quarterbacks get the master bedroom of the Hall of Fame house. They get the master bedroom.
We say main bedroom now.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Primary bedroom.
Yeah, Dan.
Different time, Dan. Jeez,
my bad.
2024.
My goodness.
My main.
You never spent your COVID nights looking at Zillow, apparently.
Added to the list of places where I was unaware that we were using dirt. May I learn that for the rest of my career, just like that. I'm learning it in real time. The main bedroom is what the quarterbacks get. Kickers, guest house. If you want to visit, walkway. You can bring your bust with you under your arm if you want.
Can they visit the main house?
The bust doesn't stay in the main house.
Is there a pool? Is it a pool house?
Yeah.
There's over the walkway. There's a pool. They can be in the pool. They could do.
So it's like the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Yeah, they got
guest house.
Like where Hillary lived.
Yes.
What if a kicker wants to go to the main house? Does the kicker need an invite from a quarterback?
No, they can visit the main house. They just can't stay there.
They have the amenities of the house.
It was a pretty sweet deal in Fresh Prince. Pretty sweet deal.
They're
got the gym
adjacent.
access.
Nobody else can get into the kicker's guest house. It's not a place for anyone other than kickers.
Oh,
the
what
kickers
about long snappers?
There are none of those in the Hall of Fame.
No,
and
that's a shame.
Yeah.
Because if you're the greatest ever,
they could be in the outhouse behind the kickers. The long snappers can.
But they have collision contact.
a lot of equipment.
Shed is even better, Roy.
Not so much anymore.
Shed.
The shed is even better because the outhouse, it's ancient.
Does Ed Perry get in?
Is it a woodshed?
Wow.
Right next to the weed whacker.
If things go poorly inside the main house, they take them out behind the woodshed.
Yeah, I got what you were doing there.
Because Ed Perry was also TE3, TE2 sometimes.
Wow. Yeah, but he can't be in the Hall of Fame for anything he did as a tight end.
No, but as a long snapper, he was a name.
That name can be in. I'm okay with what Roy is saying.
When you think long snapping,
Ryan Point Brand,
the shed. There's some rust on it.
Didn't Mike Leach put a kid in a shed once?
I believe
Allegedly.
that. I believe that was
Craig James's
Craig
son.
James's son.
Yeah.
That's a form of
Complicated
punishment,
legacy.
Yes.
Well, wait a minute though. That one was. I don't know what the real story was there, but I'm pretty sure Skipper or ESPN got sued by something that happened there. So good work, Billy. I'm pretty sure it's an outhouse that I have to put the long snappers in, but the long snappers aren't. It's empty.
That's a shame. You'd agree that if you were the best at something in NFL history, if I was the greatest long snapper in NFL history, I belong in that building, or at least adjacent to the building.
Wait, so the shed, who goes in
the building that doesn't have a living facility, even though the owners told us that there would be an assisted living facility over there, and they had all sorts of fanfare and press releases, and then the owners just up and decided, hey, we're not going to fund this anymore. Here's an amusement park instead.
An assisted living facility would go to some old players. I don't know what position it is that they would play that would also be on the property. But the shed, what goes in the shed, because I believe there are broadcasters and writers and others that are also in the Football Hall of Fame. Who do we put in the outhouse? There are no long snappers in the Hall of Fame.
You're putting Peter King in the outhouse? I mean,
that's Dan.
What are you doing?
Frank DeFord?
I was asking about the shed. I don't know whether I put...
Shed? That's better?
I think they all belong in the same building.
Next to the hedge
I think
trimmer.
people can read the plaques and realize, oh, this person didn't get hit that much. I will, in my own mind, take inventory of that.
You got to get hit some. I understand Billy's point about the quarterback. They've changed it more. I don't mean to throw a wet blanket on this, but if you read about Bernie Kosar the other day and what football has done to his body, the quarterbacks deserve their spot in the Hall of Fame. The kicker's got to go out back.
Yeah. No, I think Billy's saying Mahomes, not a Hall of Fame.
Well, no. Whoa. Billy did
well,
not
you said
say
quarterbacks that are playing these days.
No, I asked Dan if by his standards, players not getting hit.
Tom Brady. They changed the rules all for Tom Brady. So you're saying he shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame. That's a hotter take than his Simone Biles take today.
I did not
I can't
say
believe
that.
you're running with that take.
You guys
you said
no, that's not what I'm
that
saying.
is
You
what
said
you
it. I heard him say it.
We all heard you say that.
I heard you say it 3 times.
Asking the questions.
Just asking a question. I'm asking
said
if by
Tom
your
Brady.
rules, if they should have a separate house. That's all I'm asking.
You sent Tom Brady to the kicker's guest house.
I would never. I would never.
You said he doesn't get hit.
No, I didn't say that.
That is what you said.
No, I said present-day quarterbacks. He's not presently a present-day
He's going to
quarterback.
play this season. He's going to play this season.
That's-
You don't think he's going to come out of the booth and play this season?
Feels like he might be. He
better
kind
not.
of had a statement that was a little bit like, "Come get me."
You and Stugotz have been saying for 5 years he's coming back, and now that I'm putting him in the Hall of Fame,
He's
you're
done.
trying to take him out. Now he's done.
Well, no, because I want him in the main house. You're trying to put him in a separate house if he comes back. Those are the rules.
If a team that is competing for a championship suffers a quarterback injury, and we're not crazy about their backup situation, Tom Brady essentially said in that situation, "I'm open for business."
It's amazing.
Brock Purdy, you better work on your conditioning.
That's the guy.
Hey, if Dak gets hurt this season,
He better not, for his sake.
Do we know whatever happened to the ownership stake in the Raiders? Because I kind of
I don't think that was ever finalized.
Did it ever finalize?
I
Because
don't know.
because if it got finalized, it would be more complicated because he would have to divest.
Yeah.
Jerry Jones is all in at his age. They start 2-3 and Dak gets hurt. It's Belichick and Brady who are going to be coaching and quarterbacking your Dallas Cowboys. 5 games into the season.
Or maybe the 49ers.
Summer's the best time to run the way you want. Dial it up with new challenges and programs and bring your workouts with you to make the most of outside sunny days. There's no better way to do that than with Peloton. With Peloton, take advantage of how beautiful it is outside right now. You can go on an outdoor run or even a walk if you're not feeling like running, all while working on your tan. Summer's the best time to push your pace. Move how you want, enhance your fitness journey, and feel like your most empowered self. Whether you're prepping for a marathon or improving your pace, whatever road lies ahead, your training starts here with Peloton Tread or Tread Plus. Peloton's programs and instructors take you to new heights. Tap into their expertly programmed workouts and real-time metrics like pace targets that can take your fitness journey to new heights. From their strength classes designed for runners on the Peloton Tread or Tread Plus to guided outdoor runs on the Peloton app, Peloton's classes challenge you to be your best. Call yourself a runner with Peloton at onepeloton.com/running.
Don Batard.
Did you watch me at NC State? I was all ACC. I don't have necessarily the mobility, but no one can see over the line like me.
Michael, the ACC network job is a good job. It's a stable job.
I'm ready to pack it in. I've got a lot of good football left in me.
My footwork is underrated.
I can step up in the pocket with the best of them. No one can scan the field like me.
But wouldn't it be nice to be around the family more often and not have to worry about any injuries?
Babe, just give me one more season.
Stugotz.
Tell you what, I'm not going to therapy. I'm not. Therapy is not happening. Sorry. You need to work on you. There's one person pulling the rope for this family right here, and it's Mike Glennon.
This is the Don Batard Show with the Stugotz.
McLovin actually had a take on Bill Belichick's media career that I hadn't really considered. I know that this very busy schedule of his is really just him angling for his next job, a public perception. Yeah. And McLovin had very inspired takes in that he was like, well, this is a little strange that a dude that was so not media friendly just gets welcomed in with open arms, just be the guy. But can we trust you with football analysis? What's your agenda? Are you actually going to be critical? Are you only going to be critical of the jobs that you want? How is this going to work?
I could trust Belichick. I mean, we've been trusting John Fox for years. The reason we're so excited is a coach with this resume is never available to broadcast. It was Parcells probably was the last one.
No, but there has never been in the history of coaching, not Jimmy Johnson, not anybody. There's never been somebody who gets all the broadcasting jobs and gets to lord over with giant voice your every Sunday because he's in so many places, and anyone he criticizes is going to get aggregated and feed the media machine on a job that you saw how J.J. Redick used it. You could just dump a media career. No, I want to go do this. You kidding me? Like
Bill J.J. Redick was very critical often. He didn't really pull punches. Do we think a dude that wasn't media friendly at all will give us what we're hoping for? Because Omaha's tapped into this. It's why I'm super excited to have Tom Brady's live thoughts as a game is happening, because I've never had someone that great tell me what's happening. I've never had a coach this great weigh in week to week with 5 weekly appearances. Are you going to give me what I want, which is, honesty?
Okay, but let's parse this for a second, Stugotz, because we around here have been talking for a long time about what comparatively to who Belichick and Brady are, all of the people who are dominating the media space, J.J. Redick, Pat McAfee, whoever's coming in here, all the smoke, all of the people who coming in here, none of them have the pedigree that Manning has in the football space and now content space.
Right.
Brady has, because Manning's over here just making quarterbacks and receivers for Netflix. Like Manning is being paid, God knows, like $700 million over 9 years for whatever he's going to make. And Belichick and Brady want in that game. Like they want to be the ones who are the power brokers of not necessarily making all of the content, but Belichick is going to have his voice remain in the game, even though no one would give him the power to run a franchise. He's going to remain relevant this season with whatever he's doing with media work that isn't to lose at this game he's playing, where he is going to control power and narrative through the media space to be able to see if he can get one of these good positions, because he's not going to end his career the way you think. He's just going to wander away to do media the rest of his life.
I mean, he's 14 wins away from becoming the all-time winningest coach in the history of the NFL. Passing Don
this is
Shula.
all. Look, man, these people are giant economies.
Right,
they're not small economies.
Well, and maybe now that the Bank of Japan raised interest rates,
but it's all collapsing.
Belichick's not doing what Brady and Manning are doing.
No, Brady's all in. Belichick is renting.
He's doing what Herm Edwards did.
Yes. No, what these guys are all trying to do
ruin Arizona State
is control.
Could you imagine Bill Belichick putting on one of those jerseys?
They're trying to control money and power. Like they're
I think you're dead on with Belichick. He's trying to keep himself in the game, control the narrative, and stay relevant until he gets a job.
But if we're calling it out, do you think that the consumer at large is going to meet Belichick's media appearances with any sort of skepticism, with any sort of wondering what is your agenda here? Because it should be part of it. Because by all accounts, he tried to get hired this offseason, really wants to get this record, really wants to keep coaching. But it's none of this stuff is going to be met with skepticism.
My point is, even if it is, it doesn't matter. Noise around Belichick, whether it's Deflategate or not, like anything around Belichick in terms of noise that keeps his name every week with us talking about it. The idea that the Giants have arrived at the media games, Stugotz, and the amount of work Belichick's taking on, like the amount he's taking on, he's going to be everywhere.
I would say, though, that if you're aware of what his agenda is, that doesn't mean it's going to be less entertaining. In many respects, it could actually be more entertaining if you think that he has an agenda. I'll take a recent experience. Jesse Marsh was covering U.S. men's national team soccer games. He wanted Greg Berhalter's job. Everybody knew they didn't like each other, and it made for really captivating content because you knew come halftime, if they were level at 0 with Jamaica, Jesse Marsh was going to take a big steaming shit all over Greg Berhalter's performance, and he did, and it was great.
So you'll be watching on a weekly basis to see who Belichick is unfairly criticizing because that's the job he wants.
Or fairly.
I'm coming out on the other end of this.
No, it has to be unfairly for you to have.
As long as we can all acknowledge, because he's lived a pretty charming existence in the media space because everyone's just excited to have him here, wondering how this is going to work out. But if we're all acknowledging that there is a bias and he's going to be going for certain jobs that he likes, I'm in on this.
Be great if the Cowboys are 3-0 and he's like, McCarthy. And they should have won that game by 40.
You think he's going to go after coaches? I feel like he's going to do that coaching fraternity stuff where he doesn't really take shots at any of the coaches.
Well, we're going to be curious to find out. The part that I find interesting about the economy of this, Stugotz, because I'm listening the other day at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and Rich Gannon is doing a show on satellite radio because football breeds just a giant economy of stuff where Charlie Weiss is over here doing something because you can get these guys paid for anything. The idea that we're headed into a football season that can feel like pro wrestling because it doesn't matter what the content is as long as you're supplying it. Monday ratings are giant everywhere. What did Belichick say? What did Brady say? The Patriots are going to dominate football while not being in it. Like they're going to be able to control everything that's being spoken about because they don't have to go to satellite radio where Rich Gannon is. They get all the best jobs and all the best platforms. And Brady's coming in. I'll give you 3 hours on Sunday. I'll give you a guest hit here and there, and you're going to pay me $375 million to do it.
I can't believe we're at that part of the timeline. When I was growing up and all these old Steelers had TV jobs, I was wondering, like, what did they do? And then in the 90s, Jimmy, Michael Irvin, Aikman, they started getting all theirs. We're at that part of the Patriots story now, where they're getting the job.
But for now.
But
until they both come back and win a Super Bowl together.
With the Cowboys.
With the
Cowboys, yes. Bringing Jerry Jones into the mix.
All in.
It is all professional wrestling now, though. Like they can change. They've all realized what the media can do for them after not having a relationship. These two guys, after not having much of a relationship for 20 years with the media, where they showed us anything.
They don't have to join the media anymore. They create the media. They are the media. The Kelceys are their own media, their own entity. They control whatever it is, messaging that they want to get out there. It's in their control.
Yeah, but the part that's ingenious about this, though, is that you know how fascinated we are with the gossip, drama, and transaction. You've got a coach lording over the proceedings who couldn't get a job, who's 14 victories from being the winningest coach of all time. There's no way that he sits out the rest of his career. He's going to be looking for a prime spot. And on top of that, you have the absurdity of a 45-year-old quarterback every time he talks to Jim Gray saying, I'm never going to say never. And it's like, what? What? So Brady's going to feel the itch.
Gets a spike every time he
11
says
games
it.
into the season, he's going to say, I don't know, somebody's
Jared Goff went down. Wait a
somebody's
second.
7-4, and they're close, and I can just get in there and play 7 games.
Can Brock Purdy throw a slant if he's looking over his own shoulder?
That's going to be hanging over the whole season.
You know Brady's like really regretting that one because the Niners made overtures. Like, damn, I could have done it against Mahomes again. Yeah. I bet you he wishes he had that one back.
Still has it.
Well, he could get it back. Here I am downing him out like, oh, you missed your window, Tom.
One hit away.
Your window's, for all I know, 5 years more from now.
It's going to happen. It's going to be Brady and Belichick in Dallas, and their season's going to be ended by one of those kickers that I wouldn't put in the outhouse behind the Hall of Fame.
When you're hiring for your small business, you want to find quality professionals that are right for the role. That's why you have to check out LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn Jobs has the tools to help find the right professionals for your team faster and for free. As Meadowlark Media continues to grow as a content studio, we strive to hire only the best and most qualified candidates. Thankfully, with LinkedIn, they've made it easy for us to find them. LinkedIn isn't just a job board. LinkedIn helps you hire professionals you can't find anywhere else, even those who aren't actively searching for a new job but might be open to the perfect role. In a given month, over 70% of LinkedIn users don't visit other leading job sites. So, if you're not looking on LinkedIn, you're looking in the wrong place. On LinkedIn, 86% of small businesses get a qualified candidate within 24 hours. Hire professionals like a professional on LinkedIn. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/prep. That's linkedin.com/prep. Post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply.
Don Le Batard.
Common thread was Stugotz chumming it up with Aaron Rodgers.
Yep. I met my quarterback.
Yeah, as you know. Stugotz didn't talk to Aaron Rodgers.
Nope.
Stugotz thought country music superstar Jake Owen was Aaron Rodgers. They had a 20-minute conversation.
Identical twins. I mean, Jesus.
Stugotz.
Listen, I will never have the relationship with Aaron Rodgers that I have with the guy that I thought was Aaron Rodgers.
So the way that...
I mean, that is the greatest conversation I've ever had with my quarterback.
This is the Don Le Batard Show with the Stugotz.
I don't know about you guys, but I love the original Beetlejuice movie, and I'm very much looking forward to Tim Burton's reprisal. There aren't many of these that I look forward to because most sequels that are made are not for me, and I tend to generally say, oh, don't make another one of those. You got it right the first time. But it's got a ton of star power. They're trying to do it big with Winona Ryder and Willem Dafoe, and Michael Keaton's going to come back, and Justin Theroux is a part of it. Like, they're not messing around with what they're trying to do. And for people of a certain age, that movie, quirkily made, is hard to understand how it gets made, if not for the giant creativity of all the things Tim Burton is, because you just saw something come to life in the original that was unlike most movies you'd ever seen, as most Tim Burton movies are. But how do you guys feel in general about Beetlejuice being reprised?
I'm super excited for Beetlejuice. I won't say it one more time, but my wife and I watched this movie annually. It was a brief re-release in a local theater, and we went, and that's how we celebrated Halloween, watched a re-release of Beetlejuice. This is very high on the rewatchability rankings for me. It's a very original film, and Michael Keaton's performance in it brings it all the way home.
In a moment of vulnerability, I had this with Mike the other day when I hadn't seen Twister, the original, and I went to watch it, and me and Mike bonded over the new, the Twister. I haven't really seen Beetlejuice.
Really?
Yeah, I've seen I've seen clips of it online and stuff, but I've never sat down and watched the actual movie.
I'm embarrassed to admit this, but I hadn't watched Interstellar start to finish. Wow. I'd only watched bits and pieces.
Yeah.
Haven't had a reaction to a movie like that in my entire life. Not since White Fang. I've told you that I cried during White Fang when Ethan Hawke is yelling at White Fang, "Go on, get out of here, go!" When he's trying to protect White Fang from everything. And I cried when I was a little kid then. I'm seeing that as a father of a daughter. Waterworks. Tears streaming down my face. I think he's Sir Christopher Nolan now, is he? He should be. If he's not, he should be. We haven't had a filmmaker come along like this, not since Tarantino, that just like totally shocked the system. He's a genius.
It is hard to believe.
Not unlike Tim Burton.
It is hard to believe the things that Christopher Nolan tackles in scope and size. The degree of difficulty is so far-reaching as it's hard to fathom.
I then watched something immediately afterwards called The Science of Interstellar. Wow. And let me tell you something. If you yourself haven't listened to Matthew McConaughey try to explain interstellar travel to you while you're 3 gummies deep,
how did you make Beetlejuice about Interstellar though? Because we've got
he made it about Twister.
Yeah. Christopher Nolan's a CBE, by the way.
What is that?
So it is
CBE and OBE. Their whole thing.
Kind of like John Amici.
John Amici's an OBE.
He's OBE.
Which one's better? Which one's better, OBE or CBE?
Well, Christopher Nolan has a Sir in front of his name, so I think CBE is better.
Sweet. So that's official knighthood?
Yeah. They did that right now after I pounded the table for it.
But we weren't talking about
bureaucracy there.
Christopher
works
Nolan
way different.
No, it's just the thread, Dan. Like I had never seen Beetlejuice. I saw Twister, and then Twister. We went to there. So
many in our audience are probably watching us right now having not watched Beetlejuice because, if you're younger, Tony's younger and he missed out on that. Don't circle back to it. It holds up. Practical effects. And I got very excited when I read that this movie is going to bring back practical effects. Everything is so CGI these days.
Mike, the combination of gummies and I was talking about Beetlejuice and you decided to make it about Interstellar and Christopher Nolan.
And something called White Fang.
Go ahead and check out the therapy couch.
Wow.
You've been uneven lately. You're somehow you want to be with us, but you don't want to be with us topically. You want to go off on your own.
No one wants to be with me. I mean, I threw out old NFL vets that were promised something, and Dan, I guess, hadn't read it. Like the owners just said, we'll take all the fanfare. All right, fine. Mm-hmm. I was trying to chum the waters. I didn't even believe in that Bill Belichick segment.
That's fine.
I had no belief in it.
All right, therapy couch. Talk to the therapist all about it, and thank you for all of your good work around here. As I will ask the rest of the crew. Do you have a movie that you would give me that you're embarrassed that you cried during? You didn't know what was going on in your life. You just started crying and you wouldn't want to admit it. This is a question I love asking the toughest of our athletes for many years, Stugotz. Like a movie that might surprise us that you cried during. Because I'm ashamed to admit, there's legitimate shame as I say this, but years ago, at least in part because of the time in my life, I don't even remember the scene, Ratatouille got me. It got me. I was just watching.
Which part?
I don't even remember. It was just
it when he's tasting the ratatouille? And he's like,
spoiler alert.
He tastes the ratatouille. That's the whole movie. He's tasting the ratatouille. Takes him back to his childhood, Dan?
I really don't even remember the scene. I just remember the shame involved with how is it that this damn cartoon got me? I'm alone in my house. I'm 47 years old. Like, what is happening here?
A cartoon rat.
It's tapped into something, though. As you get older, man, those things happen.
Does it happen to you? Do you have one?
Oh, I've laughed at sitcoms. I've laughed, I've watched Full House and I laugh at a speech that...
But laugh? I'm not talking about...
I'm sorry, I've cried when Bob Saget is having a serious conversation with the kids on Full House.
And the music plays. Pretty bad
it brings me back to a time.
It's punitive weird. Measure for a pretty good idea, I thought. Yeah. And I've been wanting to talk ACC for 3 months, and no one will let me. It's just I'm running out of patience, and I'm generally hurt by it. I came in with I was really bought in on the team type atmosphere we were trying to build today.
You were saying Stugotz.
The Last Dance is another movie I cry every single time. I'm embarrassed, but when Jordan wins that sixth and, he's hobbling around and it's The Last Dance. Everyone knew it was The Last Dance.
That's what the name of the movie is.
Right. It just makes me weep. It does. I mean, he retired too early. I mean, we were robbed. We were.
Roy, do you have something that you have cried during, a movie that you would admit to us that would bring some shame to you? I see your eyes are darting around. Are you trying to decide whether you have had it happen or whether you're going to deflect because you're always big, tough, bravado guy?
No, there's no deflection.
Wow.
I know what the movie is. It's Soul, the Jamie Foxx Pixar movie.
Oh.
What happens?
Well, Jamie Foxx's character dies and he's trying to get back in the real world. That sort of thing. That was a pretty emotional movie. Mm-hmm. Spoiler alert.
But someone died.
Didn't say that he died.
Did this happen to you at Beetlejuice, Dan? Is that what you're asking?
No.
Oh.
No. Do you have one for us? Do you have...
I'm trying to think of the last time I cried in a movie. Maybe the Gerard Butler vehicle, P.S. I Love You.
Really?
Yeah, because he leaves her a video and a note because he's dead. Right. And then she opens the note and reads it and then has the video and then he sets up the plot holes in the movie, they come to life after you've seen it for a little bit.
Not a great movie.
But it's like, how does this guy a year in advance set up all these different things for his wife or his girlfriend, whatever it was? But there was a moment that got me here.
But that movie, it seems like the idea of that movie is to make you cry. Is it not?
Sure.
I think Dan's looking for a movie where you weren't expecting to cry, that you actually started
I don't think
crying.
I've cried in any other movie.
Huh.
Ever?
Ever. Like, P.S. I Love You at like 17 really got me, and then that was kind of it.
College Game Day? Rinaldi. Weekly tears.
Weekly tears, yeah. How about Rudy?
Never seen Rudy.
What?
You're
actually not missing out.
No, that's what I'm saying. I've gone this far without it. Like, I'm good.
Rudy's not that good. Rudy, one of the most overrated.
It's a propaganda film, if you want me to be honest.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, but
you've never seen it.
When the custodian, he finally gets into a game, and the custodian who housed him inside the stadium says, "I'll be there if you ever play."
He lived inside the stadium?
He did. He lived in the custodian's office. Yes.
Not Rudy. No, not Rudy.
Well, he did. He let him stay there for a little bit. He gave him the key. He left him the key. You remember, right?
Yes.
And then Rudy finally plays, and he's walking out, and he's fist pumping. If you're not crying then, man, I'm telling you, you're not alive.
Rudy is overrated.
Wow.
Propaganda film.
I put it
It's
on
Notre
the
Dame
poll.
propaganda.
Put it on the poll, please, Juju, at Lebitard
Enough.
Show. Is Rudy a propaganda film?
Is it not? What's the argument
No, it
against
is. I'm
it?
not.
You don't think
Well,
it's
Notre
overrated?
Dame,
I'm
yeah.
saying it
You
is.
don't think it's overrated?
I'm saying it's
Okay.
both overrated and a propaganda film. It's ridiculous. It's total nonsense. And it's just people want to believe in Notre Dame, and you can hit all the heartstrings with all the sports things by just putting an underdog in there and telling a story that would never happen. That would never happen in that form, that wouldn't be true in any way, and would just be almost entirely fraudulent to lift up the spirit that all of us want to believe in, which is the tiny guy wouldn't get totally trampled and have all his ligaments torn by a giant athlete's cement mixer rolling over him.
And Vince Vaughn as a football player.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for bringing up Vince Vaughn. Did any of you bring or see him on Hot Ones? Hot Ones is one of the great simple ideas in the history of television. It is so smart. It is for sale, or has it been already sold? It seems like a great, just an inspired idea. There are not many of these that we have had. An easy, recreatable idea that celebrities all want to be a part of to market their latest thing, and they just sit in front of the host, whose name escapes me, and they eat hot things and then try to get through the interview. What happened with Vince Vaughn? Conan O'Brien has resurrected himself for all to see in a way that was not. I love him, and he never went anywhere for me. But on Hot Ones, a whole lot of people discovered Conan O'Brien.
So BuzzFeed, I think, has been taking in offers because they're trying to sell Hot Ones. Hot Ones, great concept, great light watching. It appears on fast channels. We appear on Fast Channel on DraftKings Network. There's an entire fast channel dedicated to just Hot Ones re-airs, and I've been watching some of those things. But Vince Vaughn made news because he was recently on an episode of Hot Ones. He's promoting an upcoming show that he did with our good friend Bill Lawrence on Apple TV that I'm excited to see. So they as you do during Hot Ones, Sean's asking you a question and you respond while you're eating very spicy foods.
Did Bill Lawrence ever come here with Vince Vaughn? Because before I left, I was told Vince Vaughn may show up today. And then we were just waiting around. And then Roy said, no, he may come up at some point in the next few weeks. So Vince Vaughn did not appear last week.
We have a range of dates now. September 3rd through the 5th is the dates that Apple gave him.
Okay.
It's the Apple.
We got double booked. We couldn't have him in today. We have a Beetlejuice segment that we're doing.
Right. Yeah.
Regardless, you were saying, Mike.
So he was asked about R-rated comedies, and Vince Vaughn, I mean, he had a great epic run in R-rated comedies about 20 years ago, and everybody it got really close. Like Wedding Crashers 2 got close to being made, and I think right before they were about to start production on it, they decided we're not going to do this. So we've all been wondering where are the great R-rated comedies going, and a lot of people kept using the same excuse. The times have changed. Everyone's PC, but it's two different letters put together that Vince Vaughn was really concentrating at, and he put it on IP. That Hollywood is obsessed with IP. So here's Vince Vaughn on Hot Ones explaining why those great R-rated comedies are no more.
Hollywood no longer making the kinds of R-rated, wide-release theatrical comedies that were such a tower of strength in your career. How have you seen Hollywood's interest in making those kinds of films change over the course of your career, and what do you think are the forces at play?
Well, they just overthink it, and it's crazy. you get these rules. It's like if you did geometry and you said 87 degrees was a right angle, then all your answers are messed up instead of 90 degrees. So there became some idea or concept, like they would say something like, you have to have an IP.
Right. Yeah, right.
So for some reason, Battleship, which is like a game we used to play like a graph, became a vehicle for storytelling. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I know.
It's so weird.
Yeah.
Whereas like an IP, like John Hughes from our neck of the woods, right? Mm-hmm. An IP was a girl's turning 16. Like every girl turns 16. Or I'm going to cut school. You know, life situations, or old school. What if I got to go back and, you know, be in a fraternity now at this stage of the game? The people in charge don't want to get fired more so than they're looking to do something great. So they want to kind of, you know, follow a set of rules that somehow like get set in stone that don't really translate. But as long as they follow them, they're not going to lose their job because they can say, well, look, I
crunched the numbers.
Yeah, I made a movie off the board game Payday, so you can't, even though the movie didn't work, you can't let me go, right? So people want to laugh. People want to look at stuff that feels a little bit like it's, you know, dangerous or pushing the envelope. And I think you're going to see more of it in the film space sooner than later, would be my guess.
The music underneath.
Yeah.
A bit much, right?
Yeah, dramatic, yeah.
Just eat some wings.
Rudy-esque.
That's it. Make me laugh. Make me a bicycle clown.
A bit much. I mean, what is he talking about? I mean, seriously.
So you guys weren't listening to anything he was saying?
It's a bit long. I mean, it trailed off there at the end. Did you not? The music had to be there just to keep me focused on something, right?
Okay,
No?
so you stopped listening. The way that, Roy, what were you laughing about during the end of what Vince Vaughn was saying?
So the guy said in my ear, what is he talking about? Which is what he repeated on it.
Yeah, well, they weren't listening, and so the music distracted them. You also have 14 seconds of attention span.
Yeah. He's great.
Well, he said something interesting there that I don't.
He did?
Yes. Well, you weren't listening, Stugotz. So, like,
confusing.
Well,
It's a needle in a haystack, you know?
in the middle of it, he did say that the leadership that we are presently seeing throughout creativity is a bunch of people who don't want to get fired instead of people who are trying to make something great, which brings us all around to the original Beetlejuice and Tim Burton, who dares to make great things.
When you're hiring for your small business, you want to find quality professionals that are right for the role. That's why you have to check out LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn Jobs has the tools to help find the right professionals for your team faster and for free. As Meadowlark Media continues to grow as a content studio, we strive to hire only the best and most qualified candidates. Thankfully, with LinkedIn, they've made it easy for us to find them. LinkedIn isn't just a job board. LinkedIn helps you hire professionals you can't find anywhere else, even those who aren't actively searching for a new job but might be open to the perfect role. In a given month, over 70% of LinkedIn users don't visit other leading job sites. So, if you're not looking on LinkedIn, you're looking in the wrong place. On LinkedIn, 86% of small businesses get a qualified candidate within 24 hours. Hire professionals like a professional on LinkedIn. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/prep. That's linkedin.com/prep. Post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. Hey there, loyal listener. As you know, in listening to this show, we've been around for almost 20 years. It's going to be 20 years in September, and a lot has changed over those years. Not just the cast, but the locations we've been doing it from. We started out in Miami Gardens, went to South Beach, and now we're in downtown Miami. A lot has changed. One thing that hasn't is the great taste of Miller Lite, and the support Miller Lite has had for this show, which I'm very fond of. Another thing that hasn't changed is that it's less filling. So what is the best thing about the original light beer? Miller Lite sparked this debate way back in 1975, and we still haven't settled it. For me, it's the undebatable quality, great taste, and only 96 calories. You don't have to choose what's best. Miller Lite has great taste and is less filling. Tastes like Miller time. To get Miller Lite delivered right to your door, visit MillerLite.com/Dan, or you can find it pretty much anywhere that sells beer. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, 96 calories per 12 ounces. Fewer calories and carbs than premium regular beer.